I want to bring in now Republican Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas City. And Senator, you know, it seems to me really this is an awful time for these kind of games. Americans are suffering. Their standard of living is declining. I just want your thoughts on why we would even go through this sort of charade in the middle of a crisis like this.
Yeah, Charles, well, the president is trying to release a smokescreen, but Americans are much smarter than this. They realize the same companies today were the same companies before under President Trump that was giving us $1.79 a gallon, and now it's $5, $6, $7. I think that Americans realize very simply that this president's policies have decreased the supply of oil. You know, think about it. The Keystone Pipeline is well documented. It would be giving us 1 million barrels a day right now, the equivalent of what this president wants to release from our depots as well. Additionally, this president has shut down new leases to drill new oil. The EPA is fighting us tooth and nail, but what no one's talking about is financing. I was born and raised in the oil patch, and the people that I grew up with whose parents were doing this cannot get financing now because this president has declared war on American energy. They're using ESG, they're using the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the feds, to keep financing from going on as well. Why would you as a group of investors invest in a new oil well, which we're not going to see production for a year from now, knowing that this president has declared war on oil?
And we're all paying the price for it. Now, unlike crude oil, which we do have an abundance if we were ever allowed to drill for it and raise money for it, the same can't be said for fertilizers, right? I mean, 40% of potash, 48% of ammonium nitrate all come from Russia or Belarus. And the result has been a 15% pop in potash prices. This is just since mid-January. Obviously, this really has a deleterious impact on your state. What are you doing about it?
Well, I'm trying to stop the war in Ukraine. That would be step number one. And I'm also trying to get the president to change up his policies. This president has also declared war on American agriculture. But to your point, there is a perfect storm brewing in the Ukraine. Through the Black Sea, a third of the world's wheat exports, a sixth of the world's corn exports, and 20 to 40% of the world's exports of fertilized travel right now. The biggest impact on back home, though, is nitrogen. Nitrogen fertilizers are made from natural gas. This president needs to start implementing sanctions. The ruble's back to its baseline price again. He's probably only implemented about 10% of these sanctions he's talking about and only given them a fraction of the weapons they've asked for.
I got to tell you, to me, it's so mind-boggling. We weren't more aggressive to stop this from happening, and we haven't been more aggressive since it started happening. But to that point, I'm curious. The United States issued a warning to India over taking Russian oil. What are countries like in India, for instance, supposed to do for oil and wheat, particularly since we haven't taken the most draconian actions we should have been taking?
Yeah, you're right, Charles. These sanctions have collateral damage, and just to your point, we're speaking with 3 Ukrainians here representing their people back home, describing the same situation. I still think we have to implement secondary sanctions if possible. We have to have an all-of-the-above approach to ending this war, to kicking Russia out as quickly as we can. Every day that this war continues, more people are going to be starving in the future.
It is really tough. I mean, the world is so interconnected. And the world was looking for us to maybe make sure this didn't happen. Now that it's happened, I feel like we're leading from behind. Senator Marshall, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Charles.